to watch some DVD about Islam. They can watch there till the prayer is over. It's only take 10 minutes. Then you can take them afterwards. So once the prayer is over, wait another 10 minutes for the people to finish their sunnah, nafila, whatever other extra prayers. Then you can take them in. There's no problem. So there's a lot of flexibility in this. Now you can see according to your situation what is the best timing. So you don't want to interfere or go there when people are praying to disturb them.
Okay, but I am asking outside of the time of the prayer.
Yeah.
You can find people that are sitting in the mosque
problem.
and they are reading Quran.
We
can disturb them.
It's okay. It's okay. We try to keep like you see when you speak, you don't have to shout.
Yes.
You don't have to scream. You speak quietly, and it doesn't disturb them. Yeah. And most people, they're very understanding. They realize you're doing da'wah. They just keep quiet. They read quietly, and you go on your business. No problem. You cannot say the mosque will be totally empty. You have one person praying, maybe came late, but as long as you don't speak very loudly, you can keep it quiet. So what we can do sometimes, if somebody is just coming for salah, we can stop for some time, so you take some pictures for the building while he's praying. After you finish, I'll start with him. We give them chance to take some photographs, then after you finish, you can start talking, no problem. So you have to be very flexible in your da'wah. So when somebody is there praying, you don't want to go next to them and start the tour. You go a bit distance, a big room. You can go to the last part of the mosque and do your tour. You don't have to stand next to that person. There's a lot of room to maneuver here. You go to this side or that side, so you don't disturb that person. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Let's suppose that we have a group in the mosque and we are in front of some people in the mosque that are not accepting this group. So they are coming and they are speaking high and they go out and let's suppose this situation.
I've had many cases like that. From Saudi Arabia. متشددين يعني قوة. أنت إيش تخلي هذول الكفار داخل المسجد؟ كيف هذول يدشوا المسجد؟ وإيش هذا؟ إيش الفوضى؟ يعني I've had so many problems. So I just smile, say look, أنا موظف هنا. I'm working here, and this is permitted by the government, not by me, by the government of Bahrain. And we're not just here to show them, we are teaching them about Islam. We are explaining to them what is our religion. And we're trying to teach them about the deen. It's not just for fun, yeah. So once they understand, why they say, oh, Jazakumullah khair, Wallah shay tayyib, yani, istamiru. Yani, you have to be kind, you have to be cool, you have to smile, you have to explain why, you explain the situation. So most of them, they understand. So once you explain to them that they're not here just to take pictures, they're coming to learn about Islam, and this is permitted by the government, and we have got permission from the scholars, they will accept it. Of course, they don't apply that in Saudi Arabia, they don't accept that in Saudi Arabia, but in Bahrain and many countries, they're opening up. So there is a problem of attitude we have among Muslims. This is a big issue.
But tourists will feel themselves in bad situation. Okay, the people will understand, but after the tourists are already shocked.
Sometimes it happens, but not rarely. Most people are very understanding. I've had in many cases, when some people shouting at me, then the visitors ask, what's going on? No, it's okay, he just is, and he doesn't know why you are here, so I explain what you came for, what reason. And you have to be nice, because they don't normally understand Arabic, some of them. So they don't know what to say. Don't tell them they can't because they don't want you to be here. So get out, I tell them nicely, they just inquire why you guys are doing what he doesn't know. It's first time he's seeing you here. So we explain to them, and nicely you try to manage the situation. You have to be very diplomatic. And another thing is that most of these people I've seen like we had a situation in Amman, Sultan Amman, we have a beautiful mosque, Sultan Qaboos Center for Cultural, cultural information or civilization or something like that. The big grand mosque in Muscat. I went there to train the people and to do the da'wah, and they had a big problem. When they allowed non-Muslims to come there, people stopped going to them. They all made a big demonstration, they don't go to that mosque. They opposed. So what did the government? They brought carpets, blue carpets, and they put it like this in a way, like it's like a big, like wide, maybe 5 meters here, going around all the way, and then this one. Then said, the non-Muslims have to walk only on this carpet. They cannot touch the other carpet. So they are allowed not to go around, but they stay on the blue carpet, not on the original carpet, and there's a guard there to watch, So this is another solution they did. So now there's no problem. See, the problem, we think the non-Muslims are najasat, this one, إنما المشركون نجس فلا يدخلون المسجد الحرام بعد عامهم هذا. We take it literally. Many scholars said it does not mean that bodily they are najasa or they have najasa. Because if you say none, so you shake hands, it is not, you have to wash. We don't do that. The najasa is not of the body, it is moral one. They are spiritual najasa because of their beliefs. So it's not their, physically they are pure. Rasulullah otherwise, when the Wafd Najran was there, the Najran delegation, should have told the Sahaba, wash this place. Nobody can pray, you have to wash and clean up this place. He never told them that. He never said wash the place or clean up the mosque or make purification, nothing. He just let them lie like that. So, why did he tie that man in the mosque, Thumama? If he was najasa, it would spoil the mosque. Never did that. Because there's no najasa for the body of the human being is tahir. But his aqidah is the problem. The aqidah is the way najasa is. So we believe that this is not literally to be understood like najasat al-badan, najasat al-ma'naw. And in terms of the spiritual meaning of beliefs, false beliefs, aqidah, which is polluted aqidah. This is what we are talking about. We have mashayikh in Bahrain, into Sheikh Hassan. We have a DVD which explains this issue in detail. He will give a proper explanation why it's allowed, and we have recorded this on DVD. I'll show you, inshallah, if possible today, this in the evening session. We will show you the DVD on why we can have non-Muslims inside the mosque. It also shows the tours that we conduct practically. They recorded it step by step, and you can see how he explains about this issue. He's one of the scholars in Bahrain who gave this fatwa, and there are many scholars also with us, even from other countries, and they say it's okay as long as it has a purpose of da'wah, not just for photograph and making fun. It's not like a tourist place, it's meant to be for da'wah person. So Saddam did not receive these people just for just taking pictures. No, he took them to teach them Islam. He had to teach them. And we are the ones now taking he's our role model. So if it was wrong to do it, why would he do it in the first place? And this Masjid al-Nabawi is more important than our mosque in Bahrain or in Tunisia. Is the most second Haram Sharif. The Haram al-Madani or Haram al-Makki. These are two most holy places. Yet Rasulullah he accepted them in his own masjid, which is more important, more holier than our mosques. So we have to accept that it is possible. Otherwise, then why Rasulullah will do something like that and Allah did not condemn it? We cannot say that this is wrong. Rasulullah is our qudwa. So the mosque can be used for da'wah within certain, of course there has to be a certain rules to be observed. Certain conditions, like they should dress properly. You cannot let the women go there without proper. The Western women, they wear sometimes very shabbily, nothing on, or very little on. And this is, especially in the summer months, it's very difficult. So you cannot take them. So you have to have a place where you have abayas for them, hijab, they put the hijab. If they don't wear this, they don't enter the mosque. We make it a rule, they have to wear the hijab and abaya. We provide them freely if they want, they can use and bring it back, or else they bring their own. Okay? Men, if they come in wearing shorts, we don't enter them. We have to give them jilbabs. We have these what are called the ishdashas, ready-made there. You take your size, different sizes. They have to wear it. So we have to respect the mosque. We don't allow them to make funny pictures and do harakat, these things in the mosque and make fun of the masjid. No, we tell them have to respect the mosque. And certain things we don't allow them to touch the Holy Quran. We hold it and show it to them. If the other person will give you the translation, you can hold that and touch it to yourself. But we don't allow them to do certain things which is haram. So if you explain to them, they respect. They really respect. And they're very, very decent. They ask you, is it okay allowed to do this? So they cannot do this. We give the rules and regulations. What is allowed, what's not allowed. So with proper guidance, with proper system, it can be done effectively. Of course, sometimes you do have problems. 1 or 2 cases like this may happen after some years, but these are rare incidences where somebody may be trying to, is a drunken person, or somebody is, doesn't have proper manners. This is rare. I mean, I've been for 15 and maybe 1 case or 2 cases where people who are very abusive, who speak very bad language or who hate Muslims. This is sometimes you have to deal with it in a wisdom. Just show your patience and forbearance. You have to have that sabr and help. And don't react negatively when you get this kind of people. You have to be cool. You have to handle the situation very diplomatically, and don't let them spoil you too afraid. So, any other questions? We need to have a break now for 10 minutes. خلي ياخذ break 10 دقائق. Then we can have some tea refreshments. Then we continue for the next. We'll talk about the mosque tour, and we'll deal about the information aspect, what to explain about the mosque, and how we can talk about Islam within the mosque tour. This is the next step, inshallah. So have a break now for 5-10 minutes. Say 10 minutes and we'll come back, inshallah. العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد الصادق الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. We have covered the first part of the program for today, and we now proceed to the next phase. Just out of curiosity, has any of you ever had a chance to participate in any Dawah activities before this class? Have you had any experience in the field of Dawah? Anybody? So you have to put for them what they like. It's like you're fishing, you know. If you want to fish, you have to use what the fish like, not what you like. So I like to tell them about Islam, but if I put that straight, they don't want to listen to that. They're not interested. First, you have to make them tell them what they want to know first. Then through that you can tell them about Islam. So it's a different approach. This is where they're satisfied. They got their, there has to be a proper rapport with them. You have to establish a nice connection when you give the tour. So you have to use your core skills, soft skills, communication skills, good interaction with them, which we'll explain here. You have to have a nice, smiling face, pleasant, receptive, good. You have to speak good words to them. Be polite, be courteous, show them respect, and you be friendly. Don't show hatred or hunger. You know, if they can read your body language, they're not stupid. They'll see if you don't like them, they can tell from your face. Even though you pretend to talk nicely, you have to be genuine in your expression. So they have to see that you're welcoming, you're smiling to them, you are warmly welcoming, you're trying, they feel the warmth, so they say, okay, this is good. So you have to win them through this. You have to have the right, pleasant, friendly attitude. So without this kind of attitude, they'll not come. They say, these guys, maybe they'll do something to us, they don't like us. So a Muslim dai has to be smiling, friendly, welcoming, okay? And throughout the tours, show that you really, you are happy. Let them feel that you really wish them well. You're a good well-wisher for them. Let them feel that warmth, that enthusiasm in you. So dawah, as we mentioned, is inviting. And to invite somebody, if you invite somebody to your house, what do? You treat him as a guest. So you have to you make sure your house is clean. You treat them with very nice respect. You try to give them whatever, make them happy. Give them the best kind of food. Everybody does the best he can, because this is the hikmah. Dawah means using hikmah to convey this message. So you have to use hikmah and beautiful preaching or beautiful words. So you bring them closer to you, and this brings a connection. Now once you start the tour and you talk to them nicely, and they see your face expressions, they feel, oh, this guy, mashallah, is very kind, very friendly, very courteous. They're human beings, they feel touched, so they start to ask you, oh, can you tell me something? He wants not to understand why he's like this with us. I thought Muslims are bad people, Muslims are, violent people. Why he's so kind, so friendly? Something is different here. He wants to check it out. So you'll ask that, tell me why Muslims do this, why Muslims do that. Then you get the opening for your dawah. So most of the time, they will start to ask you after they feel comfortable with you. Before that, they'll be closed. No, nothing. Like a wall in front of you. You have to use your wisdom to break the ice with them. So you have to break the ice first. So I'll tell you later on how to do that in the other days when you have the technique of creative work, how to break the ice. So this is one of the ways. Okay, so the core idea is to connect with people of all other faiths. And this is what we mean by connection, is a smooth flow of information from both sides. So there has to be communication from both sides, not just me telling and he's doing nothing. If he does not communicate, you don't know the feedback. Did he understand what you meant or what you said? Is he accepting? So encourage them to ask questions so that you see that the message went through or not. Sometimes they don't come back, sometimes they do come back to you. You have to make sure you get feedback, because otherwise then you don't know if they received, they understood, they didn't understand, maybe they understood it wrong. So you have to make sure that they open up. And so the tour is not meant to preach to them or force them to accept any idea or engage in arguments or debates with them. We're not doing like Ahmed Didas and Dr. Zakir Naik. These are different approaches. They have their debates. These normal debates are good with missionaries. We found that with the non-Muslims, one-to-one discussion is better. But for debates, it's like only for dealing with the hard nuts, people who are very stubborn, who don't want to listen. They are missionaries. These people, you have to deal with them in this way, to be harsh with them. But with the ordinary person, they're very nice, very soft, you don't need to be harsh. Be kind and gentle to them.
Sheikh,
No.
I want to ask you about Ahmed Didat.
No.
I don't understand him sometimes because I think he do war with the Christian, or he do the Dawah for the Islam. I don't understand him. Sometimes he smile and sometimes he's so angry, and I don't understand him. You can explain to me.
Okay, Sheikh Ahmed Didat is one of those people who made, we call that, he created that awareness of the importance of doing da'wah to non-Muslims. Of course, at that time, he himself, he had not planned to be a da'wah. Like I told you, I was not planning to. He was forced by the mission, because there were many missionaries trying to convert him to be a Christian. He didn't graduate he didn't even finish university. He was maybe primary 6 or 7. He left school, he was working in a shop for his father. And this missionary to come and discuss with him and try to, so he said, I have to learn how to deal with them, to stop them, to put a stop to this nonsense. So they felt like to deal with the missionaries. There's a lot of missionary activities everywhere in Africa, in other countries. They do a lot of work trying to make Muslims become Christians. So Ahmed Didat felt there's a need to defend Islam. So his approach was dealing mostly with missionaries. That is why we need this harsh approach. Allah said, وَلَا تُجَادِلْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ إِلَّا بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا مِنْهُمْ. Those people who are obstinate, who are trying to, because of inad, they don't want to listen to the truth. These are the people who have to be harsh with them. But the people who are nice, no. وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا. Speak kind words. Ahmed Didat approach is only good for missionaries and have-nots and people who are openly trying to mislead people about Islam, who are openly enemies of Islam, who don't want to understand, who are not keen to know the truth. They just want to create misunderstandings about Islam, who are openly opposed. And this we find like people who are like evangelists, big evangelists who try to spread wrong ideas about Islam. These people cannot talk to them nicely. They're not interested. They have money. They want to make money. This is what is their business. And they spread any kind of lies about Islam. This kind of people have to debate with them in this tough way. You have to be tough with them. Didat, Allah, he achieved one thing. He created the intense awareness among Muslims to stand up for faith. Where before in those days, we Muslims have no courage to speak to non-Muslims. We felt like that inferiority complex. We cannot talk to them. We don't feel that we have the confidence to do the job. So maybe only the ulamas will do this. He made sure that everybody felt he gave us confidence that we can do the same. We can stand up and speak to the non-Muslims. But of course we have to use hikmah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَادْعُوا إِلَى سَبِيلِ رَبِّكَ بِالْحِكْمَةِ وَالْمَوْعِظَةِ الْحَسَنَةِ وَجَادِلْ بِالَّتِي أَحْسَنُ. So we have to use this approach. I don't recommend you use Didat's approach. This is not the right approach with the most of the people I've seen. Only with missionaries. I've had missionaries, you tell them this is this, they tell you this is this. No, you tell them he says like they go around and they try to create put in halaqa mufraga. They try to just jump from one point to another. They don't listen to you. They just want to convey their shubhat and that's it. This kind of people, don't waste time with them. Be strict with them and give them the message and let them go. Don't waste your time. They are not interested in the truth. But majority of the non-Muslims are not like that. Majority of them are very nice, open-minded, respectful. They listen to you and they want to know the truth. These people, be kind to them. Use hikmah, use kind words, soft words, and you'll find their hearts are opening up. I found so many of them, mashallah, I spoke to them nice, they are ready to listen to you. So harshness is only good when those people are obstinate. They are missionaries. They are anti-Islam. They don't want to listen anything about Islam from you. They are ready just to attack you. These are the people, you cannot talk to them nicely. So I think that's why Didat was like that, because he was dealing mostly with missionaries. But for the ordinary Jews, don't be like that. Won't work. You have to be nice, kind, soft, and of course firm on the principles. There's no compromise about Islam. You cannot play around with the principles of Islam. You have to be firm but polite. You can be conveyed, but don't compromise on the principle of Islam. You have to convey the message correctly, without any distortions or compromising, but with a kind way, in a kind approach. The approach has to be nice and kind, but you have to be firm on the principles. There's no compromise on the principles of Islam. Tayyib. Oh, sorry. Where are we going next? Here. So the Quranic guidelines وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا. So this is in Surah Al-Baqarah, speak good words to the people. When Allah sent Musa alayhi salam, no, this is where he فَقُولَ لَهُ قَوْلًا لَيِّنًا لَعَلَّهُ يَتَذَكَّرُ أَوْ يَخْشَى. Who was Musa alayhi salam was listened to Fir'aun, who said, أَنَا رَبُّكُمُ الْأَعْلَى. He claimed he's the God, he's the most high God. Allah said to Musa and Harun, فَقُولَ لَهُ قَوْلًا لَيِّنًا لَعَلَّهُ يَتَذَكَّرُ أَوْ يَخْشَى. So Allah said in this surah, another surah, وَقُلْ لِعِبَادِ يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ يَنزَغُ بَيْنَهُمْ إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ كَانَ لِلْإِنسَانِ عَدُوًّا مُبِينًا. So tell myself that they should speak in the most kindly manner. Very Satan is always ready to steer discourse for very Satan is man's open for. We have to understand. People sometimes, they get hurt. If you talk about it in a very harsh way, they'll start feeling desire for revenge. Why should I accept this from you? So he wants to fight back. So everything's logic is gone. It's all about anger and hatred. You lost your da'wah. You may win the argument, but you lost that person. No use. Use hikmah. Let him think, reason. Let him use his mind. Because every person who is intelligent, he uses logic, he can reach that Islam is the truth. If he has, the emotions are not in the way. You have to get rid of that anger and stubborn. So once they hear it from you in a nice way, they won't have a desire to fight back. Because they feel you're speaking to them nicely. But if you start to show that, I'm right, you're wrong, you have to listen to me, nobody will accept from you. So you have to be diplomatic. And of course, command of Allah to Moses and Harun, which we just talked about, Surah Taha. Now of course, all these things we'll give it to you, inshallah. Don't worry about them. Just understand what I'm saying. Inshallah, all the notes, all these quotations, we'll get it from the management at the end of this course. But I'm just trying to share with you these things. So you can see the need of hikmah in da'wah. Without hikmah, you cannot achieve this objective. And treatment of the non-Muslims. وَلَا تَسُبُّوا الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ فَيَسُبُّوا اللَّهَ عَدْوًا بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ كَذَلِكَ زَيَّنَّا لِكُلِّ أُمَّةٍ عَمَلَهُم. And revile not those whom they call upon besides Allah, lest they revile Allah out of desperation, out of ignorance. Many people are ignorant. So if you start to curse them or say bad things about them, they start saying the same thing about your religion. Intiqam, yani for revenge. So why do we go to that extent? No need. No need. There are better ways. We can achieve the goal with a nice approach, with a kind approach, without going to fighting and having them to commit all these big sins. So it becomes a worse situation than that. Okay? And the good and evil are not the same. Allah said, ادفع بالتي أحسن لا تستوي الحسنة ولا السيئة ادفع بالتي أحسن فإذا الذي بينك وبينه عداوة كأنه ولي حميم. Always repel evil with good. Somebody approaches in a bad way, be kind to them, be nice to them, and they will change automatically. This is one of the best things of da'wah. Rasulullah, he succeeded, والسلام, very because of the approach. He was very kind. People used to shout at him, insult at him. He was very smiling, he was patient, he forgave his enemies. He treated them very well. Quraysh, they tortured his Sahaba. They killed some of the Sahaba. Ammar, his father, yes, they tortured Ammar, his father, his mother, Sumayya, was killed by Abu Jahl. And many of the Sahaba forced to leave to Habasha 2 times. Some people of Medina, were suffering. The slaves were, Bilal bin Rabah was punished and tortured in the sun by his, Umayyah bin Khalaf and his master. And Rasulullah was telling them, be patient, be patient. He didn't tell them fight back, Till when they were in Medina, then they could fight. But you see the hikmah. Rasulullah, when he came back to Makkah, he told Mada anni fa'ilun bikum. Once he entered Makkah, he conquered Makkah, he said, what do you think I'll do with them? He said, Akhun Karim ibn Akhna, fadhabu, antum tulaqa. He said, go, you're free. He said, la aqul lakum kama qala akhi Yusuf, idhabu antum, yani yaghfiru Allahu lakum. Then see, Rasulullah, he forgave them in spite of their serious crime. Many of them deserve to have their heads cut off because of their crimes. But he forgave them because his aim is not to revenge. His aim is to convey the message of Allah. So this way of treatment makes Muslims accept Islam peacefully. They accept it by their own choice. So this is what I'm saying. Treatment is very important. Ad-Din al-Mu'amala. Ad-Din al-Mu'amala. Ad-Din al-Mu'amala. It's not just what you say. How you treat the people. If you treat them nicely, with respect, with kindness, they will come to you. They will love you. Everybody loves somebody who is very kind to them. Be kind to them, show respect to them, be always ready to listen to them, even though you don't agree with them. I don't have to agree with them, but I can listen to them. And then you can, share with them.
When I talk about with the non-Muslim, he insists just to moral aspect.
The moral aspect. Can you be more specific? Yeah.
The bad moral of Muslims.
Yeah. Very good. Yes.
Just how I talks about him.
Now, how to explain this to them? It's a good. See, that's what I'm saying. The Muslim, they not judge Muslim by the Muslim behavior.
Behavior.
This is very. See, you are to them the Islam. You are the Muslim. Your name is Muhammad, Ahmed, Omar, Jihad, whatever, Rafi, Ayman, Ayub. This is a Muslim. Khalas. He's Muslim. How he behaves is what says this guy is cheating. He's stealing. Islam is bad. He is drinking alcohol. He is committing zina. So what is this? So I think Muslims are bad people. So you see, if he's a Muslim, he's clean, disciplined, honest. He doesn't steal. He doesn't cheat. He is keeping his promises. He doesn't drink. He doesn't commit bad things.
He's not violent.
Yeah, he's not violent. He's peaceful. It's a good religion. See, people. See how the Philippines and Malaysia become Muslim. No Muslim army. Here we had Uqba bin Amir, Uqba bin Nafi. He came with an army, to live in Africa. But in the Far East, no Muslim army went. Philippines or Malaysia and these countries. How did they become Singapore? Traders, Muslim traders from Yemen, because they were good Muslims. They applied Islam. They behaved with people. They didn't preach. They just behaved as Muslims. Thousands became Muslim. The most populous country today in the Muslim world is Indonesia.
Yes.
How many 200 million Muslims? Not a single Muslim army set a foot on Indonesia. Trading, through trading. In Africa, East Africa, Uganda, Kenya, Islam. Where did Islam come from? Business people. Our grandfathers, I'm from Oman, they used to go to East Africa for business, for trading. And this is how Islam, through traders, because of al-mu'amala, ad-din al-mu'amala. We have to understand, this is the biggest problem we are facing today. Our character, our behavior is not Islamic. We have Islamic names, but we are spoiling the name of Islam by our bad behavior.
Sheikh, the big problem now, especially our that the majority of Muslim or Muslim persons who's traveling to West countries, they give a bad reputation about Islam.
Correct.
And that's, I think, is obstacle.
Absolutely. It is really a sad situation, but we're not angels, we're not perfect. I believe Muslims are humans. You have Muslims who are good Muslims, and Muslims who are bad. If you go to the West, they look at you as the representative of your ambassador of Islam. So you have to be careful about what you do, because they look at your behavior first before they ask you about how he behaves. They know you're Muslim because you're coming from a Muslim country, you have a Muslim name. But if you behave in a nice way, this is good. He's a Muslim, that's why he's behaving like this. But if it's a Muslim, he doesn't do his work properly, he's late for job, he's not honest in his dealings, he's always lying and cheating, he doesn't keep it. They will not respect the religion. You think you are a Muslim, you come and then how can you teach me about Islam? Because my culture is better than your culture. We have to set a good example. We have to follow the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. Al-Mu'mineen Aisha was asked by somebody, they asked, what was the, كيف كان خلق الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم؟ كان خلق القرآن. Rasul was the Quran. Rasul said, إِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِيُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. I was sent to perfect the morals. This is the issue. We are not doing this. Our problem is we have nafs as Muslims. Now this is applicable generally, but as du'at, you have to be extra careful. Especially if you are a da'i or somebody calling people to Islam, you have to be extra careful to be always the best character you can attain. Because people judge you, Islam, by your actions. He's representing Islam, so he has to behave that. That's why he's behaving like that. So always please, you have to tell them, sister who asked this question, tell those people, see, Islam should not be judged by the Muslims. Don't judge this, don't tell those visitors, if they ask you that non-Muslim, don't judge Islam by the Muslims, because Muslims are, you have good Muslims, you have bad Muslims. They are also human beings, they are fallible. Sometimes they follow, sometimes they don't follow. Judge Islam by its sources. What is the source of the Quran? And then Sunnah, which is the correct Sahih Sunnah of Rasulullah. This is how you judge Islam. But Muslims are human beings, they can do good and they can do bad. So you have to explain it from this point of view.
There is a person who says that he will be Muslim. He was Kafir. He said, fortunately, I know Islam before I know the Muslims. Because if he knows the Muslims before he knows Islam,
you're not invented Islam.
Yeah.
So I hope the sister, you got the answer. I explained the answer, okay? So the idea is this. We have to understand that they judge us by the way we behave. Because this is their first point of understanding. They look at you and how you behave is according to your religion. So he's a Muslim, okay, you should behave that way. But if they see you praying, fasting, being charitable, being friendly, being, mashallah, this is because of his deen. So they want to know now what is making you, why are you different from us? You know? We had some students in the US. I remember one student, he told me, somebody told me a story that they went to this, he went to this, discourse. He was not a very good Muslim. And he had a friend with him, American friend. So he was drinking and all these things. And he was telling him about Islam. Islam is like this, Islam is like this. So this guy listened to them and look, as far as I'm concerned, there's no difference between you and me. You drink, I drink. You go out with the girls, I go out with the girls. So why should I become Muslim? See, you said, there's no difference. Why are you telling me about Islam? You do everything I do. You go out with me to the disco, we go together. You go out with the girls, I go with the girls. We do everything. So why should I be a Muslim? There's no difference. So you see, there's a danger here. So there has to be a difference between a Muslim and a non-Muslim. You have to see the big difference. You have to say Muslim is someone who is a very good person, good character, honest, truthful, just, kind, courteous, all these qualities of Rasulullah as-Sadiqul Amin. Before he became a Da'i, he was called as-Sadiqul Amin. People knew him by this before he became a Nabi, before he was chosen by Allah. His reputation preceded his Da'wah. So people knew that he was credible when he spoke, they knew he was truthful. So we have to have good character. We have to build up. So as a Da'i, you have to build your character. So this Islam is not just talking only about theory, it's practical. So you have to implement what we know about Islam. If we implemented whatever we know, everybody becomes Muslim without even talking about Islam. Muslims set a good example, the West today will follow us. The East will follow us, without even saying anything about Islam. Let's say Muslims are the most corrupt countries. You see the world, they have a list of corrupt countries. Number one maybe Nigeria or Pakistan. They have this listing, the most corrupt countries, Nigeria, most of them first 3 or 4 are all Muslim countries. Why? Most backward, most least, should be on the top. كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون. If we apply this, everybody will follow us. Everybody follows someone who is better than them. So if we are not better than them, they will not follow us. So the issue of moral is very, very important. This is the purpose of Rasulullah. إنما بعثت لأتمم مكارم الأخلاق. This is what we have to focus. We have to have good akhlaq. This is what I talk about later on, inshallah, in the program. We talk about the characteristics of successful tour guide. The character, what character you should have to be successful. So this is a very good point. Jazakumullah khair. Continue now. Okay. Role model. Again, regarding this issue, Rasulullah, he got a lot of adiyah, a lot of problems. There was a neighbor who used to throw garbage in front of his house every day. So one day Rasul came up, he doesn't, he just removes it and goes. He doesn't say anything to them. One day found the garbage is missing, no trash. He said something must be wrong. So he inquired about this person, what happened? So he went and found that she was sick. Or this Yahudi boy, about Yahudi or support. He was not, so he told him about Islam. He went to visit, said, how are you? I didn't say, I felt maybe something's wrong. So he was touched. Then he became Muslim. He accepted Islam because of the Rasulullah went to visit him when he's sick and never complained to him. So this is one way. The people of Taif, Rasulullah, he went to make da'wah to them. They treated him very badly in a very humiliating manner. They even made the hooligans throw stones at him till he was bleeding. His feet were bleeding, and Zayd ibn Harith was trying to come, but he got also hit. And Rasulullah was so hurt by them. But what he did, Allah sent him the angel, Jibreel alayhi salam, and the angel of the mountains. Okay? So, Jibreel said, Allah gives you salam, and he sent me the angel, command him whatever you want. So the angel said, Ya Rasulullah, if you want, tell me, I will make the two mountains crash there. So, the two big mountains, which Makkah and Taif, will all be crashed. He said, La wallah. He said, I want that Allah bring out from them, from their offspring. I hope that Allah bring out from their offspring, that somebody will worship Allah without committing shirk. This is Rasulullah, who was bleeding, who was humiliated, who was hurt by the people of Taif, very badly treated. He did not want to revenge. He said, I pray that Allah may make from their progeny or their descendants somebody worship Allah and not commit shirk. And this happened afterwards. See? When he was in the battle of Uhud, the mushrikeen were trying to kill him and making effort to kill him. He got his tooth broke, his molars broken, his face was bleeding, and some of his pins pierced his armor, his cheeks. He fell in a trap, he broke his knee or hurt his knee, and he said, Allahumma ighfir liqawmi fa innahum la ya'lamun. Oh Allah, forgive my people because they don't know. He did not pray to Allah to destroy them, punish them. So this is the way we have to be. There you have to have compassion. You have to have mercy. You have to be above your own feelings. You have to go above your desire for revenge. Like a doctor. You have a patient. The patient may be complaining and shouting, but because it's not him, it's his disease. He has a disease, so you have to be kind and patient and give him the right medicine to cure that. So you have to act like as a doctor. This is a sick patient. How you treat a patient? You have to show kindness and you know how to. That's how the doctors handle the patient. They overlook all these things they may say or something they will say. They understand this is because of this sickness. So these people are spiritually sick. We have to treat them, and this is how we do it through da'wah. Okay, now how do we connect with the people? Many ways. You have to be interactive. Da'wah is not a one-way street. I have to listen to the other person. This person will listen to you, but you have to also give him a chance to ask questions. So it's important in the tour, let them talk to you. You talk to them and listen to them what they say. So give them a chance to ask questions. Maybe they have something interesting to share with you. So don't just you talk, and they don't have the right to talk. No, let them also communicate with you. You have to understand what they believe in, what they say, so there's no problem. You can listen to them, and then you can reply to their questions. Speak in the same language. They are French, speak them in French. If they are Spanish, speak them in Spanish. If they are German, speak in German. Everyone loves their language. So if you can communicate with them in their own language, it's very, very effective. Makes a big difference. Sometimes we have tourists coming to the mosque. It's from maybe Spain, and I don't know Spanish, I speak English, and they don't understand a little bit of me, so I say, ¿Cómo estás? Muy bien, gracias. Just what they become like your friend, they know you from a long time. Friend, oh, bonjour, comment ça va? Bien, yeah, okay, please, merci, merci, 2-3 words, it breaks the ice. Somebody is coming from Japan, oh, konnichiwa, genki desu ka? Just, oh, it changes everything. They become like your friend. Now you are one of them, So you have to know how to break the ice with them. Just learn a few phrases, but if you speak that language, it's very good. You speak French, mashallah, the French people always listen to you. And they like to speak in their language, they're proud of their language. You speak German to the Germans, French to the French, English to the English, like that. So it's very, very effective to use the language. Make jokes sometimes, with the visitors. We have to make some jokes. Don't make it always boring for them. If they listen to you about it, of course, a lot of information about Islam is very heavy for them. So you have to break ice. Sometimes you crack some jokes here and there to make it easy for them to understand. And talk about first the common things, what we share. Sometimes we talk about, okay, we as Muslims, we believe in Isa alayhi salam. We accept him, it's a must, others are not a Muslim. We have to believe in the prophets, Jesus, Moses, Abraham. We believe in life after death, in the same God of Abraham, in angels, in the life after. So you show the common grounds before you talk about the differences. You have to start like that, slowly, slowly, build that bridge with them. Then you have to show why Islam is important. What's the benefit of becoming a Muslim? Why should I become Muslim? You say Islam it provides solutions, it gives you meaning in life. We know why we are created, we have a purpose in life. We're not just here for fun and enjoyment. There's a very noble purpose. We are here to worship Allah. We believe we have a system. God has given a God-given system, the best system for human being to live and follow. We know about that Islam provides solutions for all our problems. Every answer to a problem we have it in the Quran. Quran provides solutions for us. And it's very relevant for this time as well as in the past. So you can mention these issues to connect with them. Now.
When I talk to some people about Jesus, we believe in Jesus like a prophet, like Ibrahim, like Musa, like Muhammad. He tell me I don't believe in when he don't believe in God. He tell me I don't believe in Jesus, I don't believe in Moses. How I can believe in Muhammad?
Okay, fine. This is different. Somebody is an atheist who has no faith, no faith in anything like unseen. He doesn't believe in Allah, His angels, His books. So there's no point to talk about Jesus and Moses and Abraham. It doesn't apply to him. This person we have to focus on making him believe in the existence of God first. Does God exist or not? You have to address. This needs a separate discussion altogether. We have to make it a separate discussion. So he has to first to believe that there is a God and there's a creator. And this universe didn't come by chance. There's somebody behind it. There's everything is organized. So you have to use a logic approach, rational reason with them. So this will take time. But when I talk about later on, I can talk about how to convince this people. So you have to talk using logic. Who created them? You can ask them, okay, how did you come into existence? Who created you? Okay, who created this? You can prompt them with thinking. Okay, what about the sun, the moon? Everything came by chance. If you use probability with numbers, the probability of this universe coming by chance, and this has been mentioned by some scholars, is like having a hurricane going through a place and creating a Boeing 747. Impossible. And if you say out of each and every aspect of the universe, the way it is so perfect, so organized, there's no way that it could be done by chance. Even the Western scholars are saying this by themselves. So this universe must have a creator. You cannot have a table without a carpenter. This beautiful building and has to have an architect. Somebody built it. So we did not come from nowhere. We had somebody who created us. If you see the ayah in the Quran, and I will say from nutfa, ثم علقة, ثم مضغة, ثم so from clot of blood to lump of flesh to bones, clots with flesh, ثم خلقناه خلقا آخر, and after a period of time. يعني if Allah said, if you have in doubt, يا أيها الذين كنتم في ريب أو في شك فإن خلقناكم من نطفة ثم علقة ثم مضغة ثم I forgot the ayah, but the point is this: we have to see our creation. You explain to him, how were you created? Did you come like this from nowhere? There must be a creator. So you didn't come from nowhere. So how did you start? You have a drop of sperm that could not be even seen by the naked eye. You have to use a special microscope to see this. And not only that, there was no eyes, no ears, no... How did all this come in place? How did you grow from this to become a human being with intellect, with all this complicated system? Your eyesight is a miracle. Your hearing is a miracle. Your heart is a miracle. Every part of your body is a miracle. How did it all come like this? There must be somebody who made it. So you have to use logic. Then another approach you can use is that the Quran. See, they said, I don't believe except something that I can touch, or I can feel, or smell, or something like that. 5 senses. Okay. The Quran is there. No? You can see it, you can touch it, you can smell it, it's there. Who brought this book? It's Muhammad. Okay, Muhammad, did he know how to read or write? How did he could not have read. Okay, fine. So maybe somebody wrote it for him, fine. Now we talked that there are scientific miracles in the Quran that were mentioned 1400 years ago that we only knew in the last 2 centuries, the 20th and the 21st centuries. There was no technology at that time to confirm this information. We give them examples. The Quran talks about as I mentioned, the question of human being from a drop of sperm to lump of flesh to bones. This is mentioned by Professor Keith Moore. He's a famous Canadian embroiderer. In 1963, he used, we call this special electronic microscope, to map out the phases of the embryo, the fetus in the embryo of the mother, stage by stage. He used ultrasound and other equipment, which is very high technology, to describe the shape of the fetus. And he came to the same conclusion what the Quran says. When he came with this information, he told the Muslim people in his class that I discovered something new. One student from Pakistan said, we already know that, professor. He said, how come? It's in the Quran. Which is this Quran? He said, this is our holy book. So when he read this, he said, I don't believe this must be from God. No human being knew this information at that time. They didn't have the technology to know about this. The creation of the mountains. Also, they created mountains as autad, to hold the earth so that it doesn't shake. The sun, the moon, the stars. The planets swimming in their orbits. وَكُلُّ شَيْءٍ فِي فَلَكٍ يَسْبَحُونَ. So Yasin and many other places. Allah talks about the alternation of the night and the day. And that this doesn't go ahead of that. Everything is properly planned. Okay? The stars, the distance, so the hundreds of miracles in the Quran, which are now today found to be correct scientifically. Now, who taught Muhammad this information? This is a good question. Who taught him? How did he get this information? Nobody knew it at that time. There was no technology to find this information. So this will make them think. So this book has a source. Whoever wrote this must be the creator of the universe, who knows these hidden secrets.
Excuse me, the problem with some atheists, that when you want to convince them about the existence of God, they may say we believe on the theory of evolution, so you may need first to deny this theory and then to build up to...
Yes, true, that is possible, but you see, this theory, the Western people today are not accepting this also. There's a lot of this actually was not a theory, there's a hypothesis. Darwin, he did not say that this is a fact. He just observed that there is certain things which the certain plant animals evolved. He did the study, but he never said it was a hypothesis. But some people took it and made it a theory, and now they're treating it as a scientific. It's not true. It's not a scientific fact. We don't see monkeys becoming human beings or other animals becoming. There's no way. It cannot happen. For the last how many years, they've never seen anything happen like that. We can tell them that there is development, we call it adaptation, by creatures within their own species. And you can have certain animals which adopt certain quality to survive in certain environments. For instance, you see cockroaches. You have sometimes cockroaches which fly. Cockroaches which used to be big becoming smaller to survive because of the different medicines. The mosquito. They use different ways to kill, but each time it develops a bit to resist this medicine so it can survive. Allah has given certain creatures abilities to survive under different circumstances. So they develop certain adaptable qualities that they can survive in very harsh environments, which we normally will not be able to do so. This does not mean that they become another creature. So if you took a monkey and kept it in some place, even after 1 trillion years, not become a human being, impossible. Because there is a barrier between one species and another. There's always a limit to what you can become. So human being does not become something else over some years. So we know that humans remain humans. So scientifically now most scholars believe this scientific theory of evolution is no longer valid. Even in some of the schools, they don't teach it anymore. They stop teaching, but they know that there are certain questions about it which cannot be answered. Okay, what was they said there was everything developed from one single cell.
And how that this
single cell, how did it come into existence? They have never been able to replicate this single cell. So who created this single cell?
By chance, they said.
It's impossible.
Why did they stop to evaluate?
They have tried their best, they cannot find a way because the complexity of the life, to create life is so huge, it's impossible to create the living being. It's not possible. Only what they can do, they can use living tissue, already what is there. They can clone an animal or something using already what is already created by Allah as a living to make another similar creature. But to start to create that first single cell, it's impossible. They cannot create because this is a secret only by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who knows who created. So we know that even if they claim that the life cell is with a single cell, then who created the single cell? It cannot have come by chance. Why then you don't create the same situations and create the single cell? They'll never be able to do it. Allah said, if all the people go together to create dhubaba, fly, they cannot do it. All of them, he challenged them. And he just create one fly, just fly, they cannot create the fly. If all the people put their efforts together, they cannot create one single fly. How about human being? Impossible. فالقضية واضحة. هو قضية إيش? The problem is ليس قضية إن هم ينكرون في ذات أنفسهم إن الله موجود. هم يعني لا يريدون اعتراف بالله عز وجل. The real problem with the kuffar, they know the truth in their hearts, but they don't want to follow that. So they conceal. What's kufr means? To conceal or deny. In their hearts, they know there is God. If they have an accident, for example, you are in a plane, it's about to crash, what do you say? Oh my God. Where this came from? When they're in the sea and there's a lot of wind and they'll pray, oh Allah, oh God, help us. Why? Because it's in the fitrah. Everybody in their hearts knows there is God. Even if he lived in a place, jungle, he knows. Allah's put this in every person. But normally they hide this, they cover this. Because they don't want to follow this. They don't want somebody to tell them what to do. They want to follow their desire. بل يريد الإنسان ليفجر أمامه يسأل أيان يوم القيامة. القضية هو قضية إيش؟ واحد يرتكب المعاصي. I want to do what I want. I don't want you to tell me this is halal, this is haram. So they say, we don't believe. But in reality, they know in their hearts there is God. And this comes out when their life-death situation. When you're in a serious crisis, they say, oh God. Even the kuffar say, oh my God. So how do they know about this? So they really, in their hearts, they know, but they want to deny because they don't want to follow. This is the problem. Okay. Anyway, we'll leave this for later because this will take time. To approach others is more difficult in terms of using this technique. You have to have a separate approach. This is using logical reasoning and giving examples, trying to make them think logically. And Imam Abu Hanifa was asked by some people, like this, and he told them, he started saying, oh, I'm thinking, he just didn't say, he was thinking deeply. Then they said, what's wrong with you? Why are you not answering us? These are people who are zanadiq, like they don't believe in God. He said, oh, I'm wondering something very strange. I said, what is this? He said, there's a ship that goes from one side of the river and uploads equipment and brings us and unloads and goes, and there's nobody on it. He said, what, are you crazy? I said, oh. He said, I'm crazy, yeah, but what about you guys, what you're saying? If you said this ship is going back and without a captain, without anybody to take it, and it's doing this job, what about this universe? It's all beautiful, complicated system, the sun, the moon, the day. So who is more crazy? They said, we accept. You see, he told them, give them an example. If you believe that it's not possible for a ship to go one side of the river and collect some goods and bring it to the other side without any captain, without anybody to man the ship, it's crazy. So what about this universe, which is a masterpiece of God's creation? Everything is perfect, like clockwork. You don't see any differences. There's no chaos. Everything is organized. There's rules. Everything follows certain rules. The earth doesn't collide with the sun or the moon or this. Everything is perfectly organized. The day and the night alternate perfectly. If there was chaos, it would maybe it's by chance, but there's no chaos. There's a system. Everything can be predictable. There's rules that the accurate scientific calculation. People are calculating what day will be this, when the sun will appear, when the moon will appear, what is the distance. Everything they know by calculations. So this cannot be by coincidence. So logically, if people think and reflect on the creation of the universe, it is the best way to know Allah. Like the Bennu say, if you see the other, how do you know is that camel has passed? You see the footsteps or that the tracks of the animal. You know that there's a camel. You have not seen the camel. You know there is because of the tracks. Allah's put signs everywhere in the universe, in His creation, in the creation of the human being, in the creation of His animals, in the creation of the plants, in the creation of the heavens and the earth, in the sun and the moon. Everything is ayat. But who is seeing? The problem is they don't believe. Allah said, إِنَّمَا لَا تَعْمَى الْأَبْصَارِ وَلَكِنْ تَعْمَى الْقُلُوبِ الَّتِي فِي الصُّدُورِ. This is the problem. They have eyes but they don't see. They have ears, they don't hear. Their hearts are blind. This is the problem. إِنَّمَا لَا تَعْمَى الْأَبْصَارِ وَلَكِنْ تَعْمَى الْقُلُوبِ الَّتِي فِي الصُّدُورِ. It is the hearts which are blind. You have to have basira in the heart. This iman is a gift from Allah. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَجْعَلِ اللَّهُ لَهُ نُورٍ فَمَا لَهُ مِنْ نُورٍ. No. The nur that you see iman is through the heart, not through the eyes. The eyes is just a tool to get the information. But how do you understand Allah? And the iman is through the heart. So once the iman is there, then you can see what is right. That's why Allah said, وَمَا كَانَ لِنَفْسٍ أَن تُؤْمِنَ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ. Only Allah, if He wills, then you can put that iman for you to see. Because this is things, ghaibiyat. We have not seen Allah or the angels, but how do we believe? Because we feel it in our hearts. We have yaqeen. The heart is the one that can comprehend these things, not the intellect only or the eyes. No, the different tool you need. And this is why the heart has to be properly cleaned up. Because if you commit sins, what has happened? The heart is covered, then it becomes so black, nothing can enter through, no light can enter through. So you have to clean your heart first to be able to receive. Okay? Now,
about this ayah, a lot of persons they misunderstood the ayah.
Yeah.
They think that God who gives iman and who gives hidayah. So if God doesn't want to give me that hidayah, or what is my problem? You know.
Good question. In fact, in the Surah Al-Baqarah, إن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون. And it means Allah. So why should I make da'wah? No, it's not like that. See, we have to do. Allah knows before He created us. Who is man shaqi wa sa'id, and who is going to believe? Allah knows already. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the choice, the freedom to choose. We have the freedom to choose. Based on your choice, you have to be judged. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His knowledge is not like He knows the past, present and future. He knows the kuffar, they won't believe, they don't want to believe. But who are these kuffar? Who are the ones who are stubborn, who are arrogant. Like Fir'aun. Allah knew Fir'aun, will not believe. But He sent Musa to Fir'aun. And Harun, He told them to approach him, and He gave them ayat, signs, clear signs. Fir'aun. To choose how many years it took, not just one day, how many years He spent. And he was praying to Allah to punish Fir'aun until after maybe 40 years he was punished. See, Allah gave chance to be fair and just, because Allah is just. He does not punish until He gives clear warning. So the people who are punished because they deserve to be punished, Allah gives them every chance. Because if they use their mind, they use their logic and all this, they can understand the truth. So Allah does not punish us unless we choose to be punished. We totally reject because of because of our own pride and we call that arrogance, and trying to be obstinate. So you can see that Musa ﷺ gave him clear signs. Even the Sahara, the people who brought these magicians, they prostrate to Allah. They are the enemies of Islam. But once they saw the truth, they accepted. So Pharaoh said, no, you are with him, and you are with them. إنه كبيركم الذي علمكم السحر. So he said, I will punish. He said, لا تثريب, we don't mind, and we have believed, we follow the truth. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that, see, the Sahara, they started the day being enemies of Islam, they became shuhada at the end of the day. In one day, they became Muslims and became shuhada because they saw the truth and they accepted it. The problem is if Allah shows you the truth and then you don't accept, that's the problem. Because you don't have an excuse now. Now the Muslims have to do their job. You have to convey the message. وَمَا عَلَيْكَ إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ وَمَا لِلرَّسُولِ إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينُ. And Allah did not tell him, and you have to control the affairs. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا عَلَيْكُمْ وَمَا جَعَلْنَا عَلَيْكُمْ وَمَا أَنْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ بِحَفِيظٍ
وَمَا أَنْتَ عَلَيْهِمْ بِمُسَيْطِرٍ.
You are not in charge of their affairs. You have to convey. And يا أيها الرسول بلغ ما أنزل من ربك فإن لم تفعل فما بلغت والله يعصمك من الناس. الرسول, his job is to convey. Allah always sent messengers not to many nations, to every nation. But some believe, some do not believe. So what happened to those who don't believe? They were punished. Why they say, why should Allah punish them? They didn't do anything wrong. Okay, they say, Ya Allah, you created us like this, you made us to be punished because you don't want hidayah for us. No. We chose ourselves not to be guided. So Allah punished the people of Nuh alayhi salam. He drowned them. Those who are unbelievers, people of Ad, Thamud, Qawm Lut. So why did Allah say no? These people, it's not just because they already, I know them. No, not because of the knowledge of Allah, because of their choice, their actions. They deserve to be punished. They're given the freedom, the choice. They chose to do it, but Allah knows what their choice before they do it. This is the difference. So we cannot use this as a hujjah. There's no excuse for us. So our duty, we have to convey. We have to tell them what is Islam, what is really the message of Allah. They have free to choose. We don't force them. We're not allowed to force them or put pressure, whether psychological pressure or other pressure on them. It has to be by choice, freely. They have to become by their own choice, without pressure from us. We just tell them and explain to them in a most beautiful way, attractive way, and let them accept or reject. This is their choice. No need for putting any pressure on them. It's not acceptable. Yeah.
Sheikh,
Now,
please,
yeah.
to resume, how can we hurt their feelings? To resume.
I didn't come yet to this, I'm just starting.
Okay.
I was going there with stuff.
Okay.
So, in this tour, you have to understand, you have to avoid certain things. And you have to understand that certain things, if you do, to spoil your tour. One thing is to hurt their feelings. How? You tell them, you people are mushrik, you are kuffar, you're going to hell. Because you worship Jesus, you worship this, you worship stone idols, you are doomed to hell. You're going to, how will they accept this from you? Who are you to tell us? We don't want to listen to hell with you, they'll go. No use. You always treat them as guests. Okay, I know Isa alayhi salam is not Ilah or son of Ilah, or as they believe, the Christian parents, they believe is son of God. You don't mention that. You say, look, we Muslims, we love and respect Jesus, peace be upon him. He's one of the great messengers of Allah. We have to believe in him, it's part of our faith. We respect him. Our Quran talks about him and his mother. In Surah Maryam, chapter 19, talks about Isa alayhi salam, how Allah created as a miracle, without a father. Maryam was like a pious lady, most righteous whom Allah chose with the mother of Isa. He sent to her Jibreel alayhi salam to tell her the good news. And she was surprised. How can I have a child when no man has touched me? And I'm a pious woman, not a bad woman. So the angel said, this is easy for Allah. If he wants to create justice, to say, be, and it is. So we say Isa is the word of Allah given to Mary through angel Gabriel. Kalimatullah alqaha ila Maryam wa ruhun min. It's a spirit from God, but he's not son of God. He's not a part. He's a human being. Why? His creation is like that of Adam. God said in the Quran, the creation of Isa was just like the creation of Adam. And I made him from the clay with his own hands and said, be, and he was. There was no father, no mother. Our mother Eve is from the rib of Adam. Allah took one rib out from one, put Adam, just took one rib out and made our mother Eve, or Hawa. So it shows that Allah can create under all situations. When there's a father and mother like us, when there's no father, no mother like Adam, when there's a father, no mother like Eve, and when there's a mother, no father like Isa. So everybody is, and it's possible. That why then should we worship Isa? We should worship Adam if he's greater than Isa. He had no father, no mother, it's a greater miracle. So you create this nicely, they understand without you have to tell them. Isa is like, no need to attack them. Don't say you are wrong in worshipping Isa, you are wrong in doing this. No, just explain, what does Islam say about Isa? What does Islam say about Musa or any other prophet? And that we believe that the prophets are human beings chosen by Allah to convey his message to the people, but they cannot be worshipped. They only are human beings who are taught to, teaching us the way to God. So we have to follow their example and follow them as the best role model for us. And we cannot worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the God, the Almighty, the one and only true God. This is the way. So they understand, they will understand. So they can compare what you believe with what they believe, and they will normally accept that the Islamic point of view is better. To believe in one God is more logical than to believe in three in one. So there are many ways to get your point across without hurting their feelings. So be careful. Don't say things which will hurt their feelings. Like Hindus, you guys are stupid, you're worshipping a cow. What is this? You're worshipping a cow which we can slaughter easily and kill? You cannot say like that to them. For them, cow is sacred. Say, no, you say, we Muslims, see, now there's no pictures, no idols. Why no? Why? Because we cannot worship idols. This is forbidden in Islam. We don't worship, not you, we don't worship idols. And because for us, it's like worshipping false things. God these things do not create anything. They created themselves. We don't worship the Creator who created the sun, the moon. This is the God to do, not these things. So without attacking them, you can explain the points. So you're going in a different approach, but you're giving the message across. You don't have to attack their beliefs, but you can explain what is wrong about it, but using another approach, different approach. So they don't feel hurt. They learn, they accept it, and they will not feel offended by what you say. So this is one of the ways, it's called hikmah, not to hurt their feelings. Okay. Always remember, everybody believes that they are right and you're wrong. If I talk to a Hindu, he thinks he's right and I'm on the wrong way, he's on the right way. The Christian thinks he's right and I'm wrong. The Jewish person thinks the same thing. So everybody thinks their religion is right and other people are wrong. Everybody thinks like that. So you cannot say that we are right and we are wrong. It's not acceptable for them. Then you have to use another approach. You have to explain in a different perspective. You explain what is Islam. What do you believe about Allah? What do you believe about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? What do you believe about the Quran? And let them think for themselves and compare and choose for themselves. So you cannot impose on them your ideas. Yes, we believe this is the truth, we know, but you cannot tell them that you guys are wrong and we're right. Of course, they will not accept that. So you have to understand, approach them in a nice way, explain what is Islam, what